Okay, so Palmas for Buleria. Now, I like to teach Bulerias in sixes because it's an easier way of phrasing conceptually. Also, it's really what you tend to hear more when people are accompanying. Professional percussionists usually work in sixes, and there's a way to come in and out of going between sixes and 12s. That's something we're going to learn down the line. Right now, let's just figure out simple compas for sixes. So when you're doing palmas and sixes, it's similar to tangos in that you're hitting the 2 and the 4 as your major accents. 4 is really the big one, because what you're doing by hitting the 4 in a count of 6 is you're creating this little peak. You create this peak and then it falls down and then you go back up again. So it keeps this nice little wave going, a little pulse. Now if I were to do it without a swing, it's just 6 counts. You start with your foot and 5 claps. Okay, so that's this. Okay, now putting the 2 and the 4 as accents and pulling back some of the other beats, it sounds like this. So what I want to tell you today is do not underestimate the power of that one simple idea. That 6 is a study for the ages. I mean, you can never get good enough at that. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. That 6 in such an important palo as Buleria is the lifeline that keeps everybody together. So you really want to work on that. You really want to perfect it. Now let's talk about some of the intricacies, okay? So now I don't always have to hit my foot. I can do without it and just leave it understood, so I can go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And that leaves it more open. Now it's okay to hit your foot, especially if you have other people you're working with and you need to have to make your palmas a presence in the music. You certainly don't want to get drowned out by everybody. At the same time, not overpowering like the guitar, the singer, but you want to support them and you need to be right up under them to make sure that they have what they need to be able to do their best job. So another thing to think about you can do when you're talking about sixes is sometimes you don't even have to hit 5 and 6, which is really a nice way to leave it open. Sometimes a musician will require that you have all 6 beats just because they're playing such intricate things that they need that constant reference. But it just depends on what style is being played and who's playing it, and the general level of the group. Some people have a hard time keeping compas if you take out 5 and 6. To just let 2 beats go by with nobody doing anything with the palmas can kind of throw you. So you got to get used to it. But it sounds like this if I'm using my foot. It goes. If I'm counting that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Or you don't have to completely stop. You could just barely hit it. So that could be. Same type of effect. Now, let's talk about that 6. That 6 you can hit even as an accent, but you certainly don't want it to be as loud as the 2 and the 4, because it's going to start to sound like 2s. And that's, if I'm hitting the 6 as much as the others, here's what I mean. It sounds like this. You don't want it to sound like 2s. That really closes everything, closes the idea, and it hinders the possibilities for things the guitarist can do, things the singer can do within that. So you don't want to bang somebody over the head with 2s. 2s can work sometimes, and you'll use them at times in Buleria, but as a rule for compas, for swing, you want to try to keep a nice open 6, at least, okay? So, without hitting that 6 as much, it sounds better. So see, I still accent that 6, but I don't do it as much. As opposed to. Okay, common mistake, but easily fixed. Okay, so now you have a good solid idea on a 6. In a different video we're going to stick it into a 12, and we're also going to show you some variations on 6s to help that idea of rising and falling. Now in the next variation for Palmas and 6s, I'm going to give you what's called an opening 6 and a closing 6. Same kind of thing that we do on the cajon. And that's going to help you to really start to create that 12 I'm talking about. If you have a rising 6 and a falling 6, mathematically it's a 12, but also it's a grander idea, it's a grander thing. So we'll see you in the next video.